night on 29th January, I had to go for a meeting to Delhi, and I was at the airport terminal, and my scientist called me and said, "Ma'am, I think we have a positive." So I said, "Okay, has the other lab taken it up?" So I said, "They are testing." So I said, "Okay, I'm heading down." And I came back in the night and headed straight to the institute. We went on late into the night discussing the pros and cons, sort of testing, interrogating it from every angle possible, because the gravity of that information was very huge. To say that and to announce it to the government and to the world and to our own fellow citizens that we have this virus in our country was very, huge for me.
Meet Dr. Priya Abraham, a virologist. She became director of the National Institute of Virology in Pune, India, just 2 months before the coronavirus pandemic hit.
Those 2 months gave me time to understand the institute, my new setting, get to know the scientists, know their core skills, their capabilities. And therefore, when the pandemic hit India and we decided to, dive into the deep end straight away, it was easy because I could tap on the right people's skills and capacities.
Under Dr. Abraham's leadership, the NIV became the first lab in India to isolate the novel coronavirus.
But the isolation of the virus, which is the capacity to grow it in an artificial cell line, was taking it to a notch much higher. So we succeeded doing that on March 9th. And even before that, there were scientists saying, Dr. Abraham, you need to actually isolate it, and that would be the icing on the cake. In science, you have to work for it, you have to try several times, and it will finally work. We have to hang in there. Once you're able to grow the virus, then you are in the running for assisting companies for making the vaccine.
With this, Dr. Abraham has become one of a growing group of women leaders in public health handling this pandemic.
I am so thrilled to see that, at least 7 countries in the world have actually done significantly better during this pandemic. If you start from the Far East, you have New Zealand, you have Taiwan, you have Germany, you have Finland, Iceland, I think Norway and Denmark. They have been practical. They have been prompt at introducing restrictive measures quickly enough. They have given public health priority over economic concerns. And they've also, I think, taken the effort to collaborate or interface with the community. These 7 countries have been led by women, and I'm trying to say that they have engaged with their respective populations. They have convinced them that this is the thing we need to do. A little more aggressive with handling the pandemic. I have been watching actually Mrs. Shailaja in Kerala, an extremely simple woman. She was the woman who held together the Nipah outbreak. She's taken Kerala through this recent pandemic. Simple, very down to earth, but a woman on the ground. Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, she's the chief scientist in WHO. She has put in a lot of hard work, is a great encourager.
Research says more women leaders in public health means better outcomes for everyone, especially women and children. And yet, women still struggle for a seat at the table. They are the engine behind global health, yet the field is still led by men.
I personally think it's harder for a woman to get where she gets to. And very often what I have found is when people find that women are driven, very focused, very goal-oriented in terms of their career, it is often conveniently labeled as aggressive. I don't believe a woman should just have a seat at a table. The woman has to equip herself to make her voice heard. And people have to take away gender from the workplace.
So, what makes Dr. Abraham a good leader?
We have to take a firm stand. We have to be, able to call a spade a spade. But that has to be done with, something like it seems like a oxymoron, but a firm gentleness or a gentle firmness, if you know what I mean, but being firm nevertheless. A leader must understand the importance of human resource. Because, you could have equipment, you could have, all the reagents to run any fancy test. But if you don't have the right human resource, and if you don't have them feeling good about themselves, and if you don't encourage them, I think you cannot run a show. I think no leader, man or woman, should be a person who doesn't have empathy,